We're here with David Zukele.
Zulke.
Zuke. Okay.
It's a bit hard. It's German. Sorry.
So he's from Germany and Munich. So he's been talking with us. He's been giving a talk at the Confu conference for talking about RESTful services.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about these RESTful services and break some of the misconceptions that we have. Basically, people think that the web services is only a web address per se, and you can just do queries on it, but you can do much more things. And you talked about it, right?
Yes, I talked about it because a lot of people think that REST is simply, a nice HTTP interface where you have resources and you have the get and put and post and delete methods.
Yep.
To perform operations.
Yep.
But the thing that actually differentiates REST from existing paradigms that we have on the web services world is
like SOAP?
SOAP is even worse actually, because the problem about SOAP is that you make a post call, but it doesn't use any of the HTTP features. So in the post, you have a body that explains that you're getting a product or you're creating a new product.
Yep.
So if you have a proxy in between and the proxy would like to cache the get product call,
Yep.
it has to understand the application and what get product means.
Yep.
HTTP and thus REST has something called the uniform interface. So you know that when you do a get on a URL for a product,
which is
it
part
is
of the
cacheable.
HTTP specification.
But you know that this is a safe operation and it is cacheable, so you can cache it. And it doesn't matter whether this is the front page of the BBC News website or if it's an Amazon product page. It's a get on a location, and that is always cacheable. Whereas a delete and a put and a post are unsafe, and a post cannot be repeated, whereas a delete and put can be repeated. So that's called HTTP's uniform interface, and it's really interesting. But what makes REST RESTful is the fact that a client creates a product, and the server returns with a link, and the link points the client to the created resource. So the client then simply follows the link, and the created product.
You can actually follow the link.
Yeah, you follow the link. So the created product would contain maybe a link to a category that you follow. You don't have to know that. You wouldn't say in the product return category ID 15, and then you know what the URL for category 15 is like. There is already a link that you follow. That is called hypermedia as the engine of application state, because the client simply follows links that the server gives. So the server drives the state transitions for the client.
Okay.
And we talked about earlier before this recording about a cool example.
Yes, a cool example was I don't remember the name of the author. But
I think it's Mike Amundsen. He's a REST guru. He's a really cool guy. He keeps saying that he doesn't know anything about this and that he's just learning and blah. But he's really good.
At DevLab, we had a friend who's a co-speaker here, Daryl Miller.
Daryl Miller. Unfortunately, he can't be here.
Yeah, I'd like to have him with us.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think we're gonna have to have him separately here. But he explained to us in the DevLab session that you can also do an interface and make it shown. You can decide the MIME type media that you want to show. So it's HTML, application XML or HTML. And then you can make it do whatever you want the way you want it, because it's part of the specification of the HTTP 1.1.
And it's really important because so when you have a product web page, that is not a resource. That is just a representation of the resource in a human-readable format in HTML. But at the same location, you could also return a JSON or an XML version by sending a different accept header as the client, and then it returns a machine-readable representation, but the URL is the same. That is important.
Yes, it's
because,
good.
And that's cool for proxies that are like any intermediaries, because a RESTful system must be a layered system.
And you have to cache at the HTTP level, not the application level.
And you use the resource URL to decide if, like, do I have it in the cache already, etc.
Or trigger the events, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can read the links and follow it. So like with the example that we talked, this example of following links in a maze.
That is really cool.
Labyrinth, I think.
Yeah, it's a labyrinth. So the server generates one.
Yes.
And you start at a point, so you make a get call to the first point in the labyrinth.
Let's imagine a grid here. Grid.
And then it would say, so it says you're at coordinate such and such, and you can go left or you can go down. You can't go right and you can't go up.
Yeah.
And then you go left, so you make a call you follow the link to the left to the location to your left.
So it follows the links
Yes.
until you get the goal that is you want to get outside.
Yeah.
So you have to know.
So you would write a giant state machine in the client that also remembers where you have been, etc., until you navigate out of the maze, which is pretty cool. And it's that's actually very valuable. And luckily, more people are doing that. For instance, like a simple search query, and you get like a search results.
Yes.
And it already has a link to the next page in the search result because you have just 20 items per page, okay?
Yes,
that
not
the
just
API returns. And then it has a link rel equals next, href equals blah, and you just fetch that URL.
Yeah.
And that URL could at some point point to a completely different server, but the client doesn't break because it simply follows the link instead of knowing what the URL needs to look like.
Okay, so it reads the HTML
Yeah.
in this case, but it could be anything, any formats because it's a XML.
You could even have several link rel equals next,
Yep.
and then with different MIME types. So you can decide what MIME type you want.
and you can even write your own MIME types, but it's
Oh yeah, you
all
should. Yeah, but you should actually because
write your own MIME type.
well, you invent your own. It's called invent your own media type.
Yes.
Because application XML and application JSON have no implicit semantics. You know how in HTML a tag has a meaning?
Yep.
Application XML just says it's generic XML.
Yes.
So there is no meaning in a link. There's no defined meaning for a link element in an application XML. There
Yes.
would be a defined meaning for a link element in HTML or in application/vendor.ca.confu.sample API.
Yeah,
Right.
but the problem is with the rel, it's overused or used at all sources.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the class names with weird cryptic syntaxes, so you can break everything. So you'd better have your. What Darrell told us in the last the DevLab meeting
Yeah.
that we had a month ago, he said that he actually create his own MIME type, you know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he said, don't do it. You just have to use the standards and do whatever.
Well, you can build a lot of stuff. You can get done on top of AtomPub.
Yep.
So AtomPub as the basis.
Atom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that is a really good basic because you can pretty much represent any type of information
Yes.
with Atom.
Atom, yes, which is a good idea. So I think we wrap it up. You do
Yes.
want to? So I guess you.
Thanks for the interview.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So thanks.
I hope to be here to be here again next year. I have another talk about
Yes.
media type design actually.
Oh,
so
yes.
maybe next year
Yeah.
as a
so
follow up to this.
It will be cool.
Yes.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.